All right, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We are on lesson 12, part 1. So here we go. This is on masterminding, and really excited about this because we will be featuring one of my favorite books, which is U Squared. So amazing. All right, so I can see you guys on. And just organize my screen here. All right, here we go. So let's start with wins. Mamito, you're first on my screen. We're celebrating you, honey. Take yourself off mute.
Okay, wins. Right. So I spent I'm going away on Thursday. So I'm going to Nice, and I realized I found one of my old kind of like gratitude book thing, Wiggy, and in there was like a trip to Saint-Tropez, and I'd forgotten about it. But like I've always wanted to go to Nice, and so now I'm going. And so the past couple of days I've just been preparing for that, which I'm very excited about, and I'm going by myself.
Well done.
Yeah, I've never done that before. I mean, I've moved to different countries, but I've never like gone on holiday by myself. So I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah. So that's
sounds
my win.
super empowering. Good for you.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing. Pamela,
Thank you.
Next on my screen. Do you have a win you'd share?
I'm not in a place where I can share without disturbing other people.
Sure. Okay, no problem. That's no problem. Yeah. And if you don't want to share, you guys can just take off your video, and that will help me not call you out. Or you can just write in the chat too. But I do like seeing your face, Pamela. So thanks for being here. Sherry, what's your win today?
Well, my win. I have some big wins today. This morning I had my chat with you and recommitted. And what's interesting, I was watching your when you were reading the Think and Grow Rich, and I noticed your energy was really, really high. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wow, like I was really low energy the last couple of days, and I noticed it and thought, I want to be like that. Like I want to show up that way. And then we had our chat, and I felt very determined afterwards, and I sat down and I wrote out my commitment, and I sent that to the people that needed to see it. And then I did my TIR work, and I started again on lesson 1, and it was interesting because I remember when I did lesson 1 the first time, and it was all about your goals and your wants and everything. I had a lot of trouble. Mm-hmm. I couldn't find words. Everything was very concise in how I said it because I didn't really understand the visualization part of it. Mm-hmm. And today I set a timer so that I was on track, and then my timer went off, and my daughter had set it as a motorcycle. So a motorcycle started playing on my phone, and I wasn't done. So I stopped my timer and I just kept writing, and I started to feel what it would be like to have achieved my C-type goal. And then I went to Costco with my son because in the time that I had before I came back for the webinar, and they have all their back to school stuff already, which frustrates me a little bit, but there's snowsuits and everything. But in the back to school aisle, I was like, oh, my notebook's almost done for TIR. So I got notebooks, and I got extra highlighters, and I got pens for all of the writing because I keep running out of pens. Yeah. So I felt like everything was filling in so that I am accountable every day, and to myself and to the people that need me to be. And I feel a different energy about it. I feel really good about it.
Cool. And like I was saying, the journey's always our journey. Like we have to do the growth that you've been doing to get you to the point of the committed, like a no kidding committed decision, and we can never get to that growth where you are today before you have to do the other stuff. So it's always right where you are is perfect. Mamito, you talked first. Like I'm sure you can relate to that.
Yes, 100%. It's funny that sorry, I forget the other lady's name that she's
Sherry.
Redoing. Sherry redoing lesson 1. I decided to stay with lesson 2 for the third week because I felt like last week I hadn't just because of a work schedule and things, life happening, I wasn't able to commit as much as I wanted to. And so I know that in the past I would have just been like, oh well, I've done, it's 2 weeks, it's time to move on. But what this work does is really call you out, and so you're constantly like thinking, okay, well, I'm having to be accountable for myself. So I was like, okay, I know I need to do this second lesson again for an extra week as opposed to just the 2. And that is all. Even with Think and Grow Rich, I have to restart my 90 days, and it's not what I want to do, but I've put a date as to when the 90 days finishes, and I'm determined to meet that date because I don't want to start again. But I do think it is that accountability factor, right? It's like, how determined are you to show up for yourself? I think that's kind of like what I've been thinking about, really.
That's great. And like it's not the same journey for each of us. You know, it just can't be, because we don't have the same programming. Like Sherry, you had other programming that was here, for you to like move through. And what is the definition of success? Mm-hmm. Sherry?
The achievement of a worthy goal.
Progressive realization of that worthy goal.
Sorry.
So it's like, it's the moving forward towards it. Right? So you've been successful this entire time. Look at how you're showing up across the board. The conversation we had today, we couldn't have had a year ago. Think about that.
We tried. It was a very different conversation.
Right? Yeah. Really good. I acknowledge you. And we hear your commitment, don't we? As a community, we hear your commitment. We stand behind you. And we have your back. Yeah, see, Pamela's giving you the thumbs up. I got that.
Thanks, you guys are awesome.
Yeah. So continue to show up here, right? Because this is your like safe practice, and it will give you the courage and the energy to show up there outside. Really great. Cool. I think that's Carlene, or maybe she's driving. We see you if you have a win. Yeah, she's driving. She's shaking her head. Katie, I see Katie next. Okay, Katie, what's your win? Oh, I don't know if we can hear you. Can we hear you? Okay, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. My win. Yeah, what is my win? Right now, I guess maybe it's just being like my perception. I'm kind of struggling with a situation where I'm kind of forced to go against my integrity. And so I'm just sitting in that and really just focusing on what I want, and kind of thinking about how, with one thing that I could let go of, and a new thing, like what else could be coming in at this time, and just being open with that. So it's been interesting because it's a really big gig for me. Like, essentially it's my acupuncture. I work at the Chopra Wellness Center, which is a holistic retreat center, Deepak Chopra. And they're forcing everybody to get TB tests and flu shots because they just got accredited with the Vancouver Coastal Health, which for me, I don't believe in flu shots, and I also don't believe in injecting stuff under my skin to figure out if I have tuberculosis, which is also something that is not common. And
so what do you think your win would be in all of that? Perhaps it's in like the really thinking about what you believe in, perhaps it's in the groundingness that you're able to do.
Definitely in really staying true to my values.
Yeah.
And also just like being open to not worrying, because that is, I make really good money. I make $1,000 in almost 4 hours.
Yeah.
Between 4 to 6 hours, and that's like a good chunk. So to let that go, what can I open up, and what am I welcoming in? And so moving forward into that. So it's my choice if I want to get the TB tests done and whatever, but I just feel like I want to stick with my integrity and actually just, It's not
And it
something
can,
I'm,
and it can challenge that piece too, the belief, like see it on all angles, like really go, I would put that out on the table on a piece of paper and go from it at all angles, like why is that part of my belief? Why is that part of like my intent? And not to judge, right? It's just like keep going and looking at it from all angles. Perhaps that's part of the win to keep expanding. Yeah.
yeah,
Good.
I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
it's just like to be open to that because it's coming to you for a reason, right?
yeah,
So like
it's
how
coming to me for a reason, but I know exactly why it's my integrity. I don't want to put foreign things in my body that,
yeah, no, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is to like find the win. So we're all about wins right now. So like when something comes up that that's not in our belief, like I'm not saying to change the belief, but it has us break down because our change in beliefs is a reevaluation of something. So if you can like go through, it will either strengthen or it breaks down. And if it strengthens your belief, like there's a reason it's coming up. So take that opportunity to have it strengthen or break down the belief. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're
So,
saying.
because you can be closed and that's your choice too, but a closed mind isn't open to any opportunities.
Yeah, well, I think for me, like the win is just being like, you know what? I've been doing this for 4 years. Maybe this is my opportunity to let something else in and let that go. And just, it's a big decision to let that go. But knowing that, it's like you say, like that nature bores a vacuum, like this comes out, it's been a really good gig. So bringing something else in. So just, you know,
Good. That's great. That's good. So leave space for that. That's awesome. And see how I'm working around? Like sometimes remember our paradigm puts us in a box, right? So if we can like remain, and this is probably top of mind to me because Bob has said it to me before, but it just came up today and I'm about to go back on the hot seat. I don't know if you guys knew I was on the hot seat last week with Bob's team, but he's like, get it out of you. We put our roadblock up because we think it's personal. It's not personal. Don't make it personal. Get it out on you to get a different perspective so that we can see this bigger picture and we can allow it to open up to us. So it's not like to get us to change our opinion or idea or anything. It's just to break down the box because no matter what our paradigm is, it has us in a box. You guys see that?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, really good. Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Katie. It's great. Susanna, I see you next.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, I guess my win today is I've been reading the chapter on imagination with Think and Grow Rich, and I've committed to doing it for all of July.
Oh, cool.
Because I was really finding, to be honest, I was kind of randomly reading. Like I've read the whole thing, but then I wasn't consistently reading it every day. And so I think, yeah, really committing to just reading it the whole month and just that chapter is really helpful. And also because I'm definitely struggling with my imagination. So I'm hoping to gain a bit more insight into how I can better my imagination.
Yeah, good. How you can work it out. That's great. I love, again, it's come up a few times is the commitment, right? Like it's been on a few wins. So with the imagination, remembering it's a muscle, which is really important, and that we can work it out. So Susanna, as you work it out, it's going to get stronger. And it's just like at the gym, you work out today, you don't see necessarily that you're stronger, but after a week or two you'll notice that you're stronger.
For
and
sure,
then you'll be able to pick up more weight with that imagination kind of idea, right?
Yeah.
And I would make sure that you're applying it. So as the reading, and I learned this, I put a video in Mastering Your Mindset Today Facebook group, because the difference between the knowledge and like having the knowledge in the conscious mind and being able to repeat it versus listening and learning with our emotions so that we're applying it to our life. There's a vast difference. And our society has us learn, put a book down and not apply it. Go on to the next book, go on to the next course, da, 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 da. But what you're doing is reading it for 30 days. And as you're reading it, get ideas on what you, like it's really building your faith. Like, what can I imagine? And play with it.
Yeah, and I was going to say, like, the part where he talks about like I decided, and I forget, I think it was the guy that was trying to get the $1 million. Was that, am I remembering right? Yeah.
The Reverend, that guy?
Yeah. And I'm like, man, I think I need to really decide, because I don't think I really made that like mental decision, even in like my own business or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So.
And what's interesting, so we like, how do we know once you've made it? Like, we just know, you know? So for me, I kept going into my imagination and building my desire, adding fuel to the fire. And it's like, as that grows, you're going to give, it's like, you know, when you start a fire, literally like on a campground, and we have to keep feeding the fire, don't we, for it to like go up. The same thing with our desire. You have to keep feeding it and imagining it and like rolling around your mind and like really thinking about all these sort of like outcomes. And then as you do that, it's like, for me, I noticed there was just like one day, it was like almost I turned my belief. The belief got strong enough that I had the courage to make the committed decision. Like, I'm doing this no matter what. It has to happen. Does that resonate with you guys? So the more attention you give it, then you'll make that committed decision. And then you kind of, you know, when you've made it, and you kind of question, if you're questioning whether you've made it, you haven't made it. So keep going with the building the desire. Good. And your imagination is a good way to do that. Well done. You know what I really like about this win is that you've identified a gap, and then you went, okay, what tools or how can I close that gap? Like, I'm a little bit weak here. Yeah. And you went to apply it. Great job. Cool.
I just wanted to add too that another win is just the fact that I'm talking right now. I know I've mentioned it before, but like, I actually don't feel like, normally I feel really anxious, but I feel this sense of calmness. So thanks for pushing me to get in front of the camera.
You're very welcome. And doesn't she look great in front of the camera? And what's cool is, you know, as now that you're a little more comfortable, that tells me that what's happening, you guys, she's creating a paradigm shift. Because when it's uncomfortable, it's her terror barrier, and it means her paradigm and the goal to talk are in conflict, XY vibration, and they're fighting. And the calmness you're experiencing because you haven't let go of the goal, you're talking in front of the group, but what you're doing is you're shifting that belief about who you are. Isn't it magical? Yeah, totally. Amazing. Well done. Cool. Well, thanks for sharing. I believe I have everyone. If anyone else would like to come on, unmute. That's amazing. Cool. Well, I acknowledge each of you for being on today for lesson 12. We'll dive into it now. This is going to be a two-parter this week and next. And today I decided to go into a little bit more of the U Squared book. So this lesson, really, this quote sums it all up from Think and Grow Rich. Remember, it takes no more effort to aim high in life, to demand abundance and prosperity than is required to accept misery and poverty. Check yourself here if you really believe that. And it's okay, because believe me, I didn't. I was like, yeah, right. It's good to like just take a little inventory on where that belief is for you. Nothing wrong. It's just like, okay, interesting. Isn't that interesting? If this is true, I can have all the abundance and prosperity in the world doing exactly what I'm doing. Well, not really. Not doing exactly the same, but it's like, it's change in being, isn't it? It's not what we do, but it's how we do it, isn't it? We learned that from lesson 11, living in harmony with the laws. So no more effort. So you're not going to need to work harder, longer hours, but it's just in how we're doing it, how we're being, how we're showing up. And the mindset that we're holding, the thoughts we're holding on to in this paradigm that's either going to give you the poverty or the prosperity. And through this work, you're creating that paradigm shift, like we just talked about with the Susanna, so that you are attracting that prosperity to you. And prosperity and abundance comes in all different forms. Abundance of love, right? Abundance in relationships. So acknowledge all of that. And if you do believe it's going to take a little more effort, note that. Because it's just like usually it's a time work or a time effort paradigm that we have, and we can just break that down like the same way we break down every paradigm. We break down the belief, where did this come from? Accept, what's a new belief I want to accept, and repetition, repetition, repetition. So I thought this was good, because being miserable is a habit. Being happy is a habit. It's our choice. I love that. Just like having prosperity in our life is a habit, and poverty is a habit. It's our choice. I thought that was a great quote for us. This lesson gives us an understanding on how to magnify your mind. I have to send my husband a note. We have the Ministry of Labor at our house. We're doing renovations. We love our neighbors. We love our neighbors. It's very loud, as you can hear, and we've got some complaints. This lesson gives us an understanding of how to magnify your mind and increase the power of your mind and increase your effectiveness. This got me very excited, because not a great paradigm that I had, but I had my worth was attached to my effectiveness when I started this program. I don't know if anyone can relate. So if I was more effective in getting my goals, then I felt like I was more worthy. So this lesson made my paradigm happy, because I'm like, oh, this means I'm more worthy. So that's a kind of a screwed up idea, and I had to break that down, obviously, because that's not true, and that's not a belief that serves me. What is really interesting, though, is what about if we can have it all? If we can we can understand the power in our mind that we actually have, we increase it so that we do become more effective, and therefore have better relationships and better, whatever that means, like better, more time, more confidence. So this lesson is really exciting. U Squared is a really exciting book. Does everyone have it? If you don't have it, you want to get your hands on it. It's not one that's necessarily, I think it might be on Amazon now. It's like a $7 book. It's a book that's really quite thin, so you can carry it around with you. And each chapter is about 1 page long. So it's like great for like if you're waiting for a doctor's appointment or something like that. So what you want to implement or what you want to think about today is what specialized knowledge do you need to hit your goals? So one idea that I learned very early from Bob is that I can't do everything on my own. What? I didn't know that. Maybe why I was working so hard, right? You're not meant, like anything well done, any great leader, they haven't got there on their own. From Steve Jobs to Oprah. Like no one of greatness accomplishes anything on their own. So what you want to think about for your goal is what specialized knowledge, so either based on the things you do or don't like to do. So get a handle on what you love to do and do more of it. And then there's things that obviously are necessities for your business or for your life that you can get help, either hire or like even trades. There's lots of ways that you can get the help. Okay, so what is this knowledge that you need? And then you want to listen today for ways to apply this to your life. Okay, listen to understand. I love that when I heard Bob say that. Listen to understand. Listening is with your emotions, hearing's with your ears. Massive difference. So U Squared, Price Pritchard. Trying harder is not necessarily the solution for achieving more. It may not offer any promise to getting what you want in life. And in fact, it's a big part of the problem. So in this book, we talk about the fly hitting the wall to its death. The fly wants to get outside the window to get outside, and it just keeps flying harder into the window. And us, we look at the fly and we're like, that fly's crazy. It's never getting through the wall. But the fly doesn't know that, and it just keeps trying harder. And that's where this book, the very first story in the book, talks about the fly story. When I heard this, I was like, oh my goodness, I just keep adding more hours to my business. I just keep doing more calls, doing them the same way I've always done it, in the same energy. And anything we do from our current paradigm is going to get us the same result. It has to. And so I was literally killing myself, like not just working hard and then harder on myself, which was going me down the fear, doubt, and worry. Why isn't this working? I'm not good enough. So think about this for yourself. Where is this true for you? Where do you think just putting in more time is going to get you better results? So what I'm instantly reminded of, we know, is we want you to go with your goal achieved. So Susanna, you working with your imagination muscle. When your imagination muscle is strong, you can go into that visualization and raise your vibration there, and then ask for things you can do from that place. Ask, like, how can I improve my results, and take action on those ideas. Humongous shift in my results when I started doing that. Can you guys see the difference? Any comments on this quote, this idea? This goes against all logic out there in the world, I think. I even hear my grandma, she's like, "Elle, you just have to try a little bit harder with her bike uphill." I'm like, no, let's not say that.
I have a comment, or
Yeah.
so recently I was just meditating and really thinking about what's blocking me from achieving my successes and where I want it to be. And what I realized was that my belief is actually opposite to that. It's ever since I was a kid, everything has come really easily to me. I never really had to study going through school. I always, it was just everything came super easily. And so now in my adulthood, I think I don't try hard enough because I expect things to come easily because they always have. And so maybe not knowing exactly what I need to do to try harder, to do harder, but I have that belief that things should come easily.
So does that mean that you're not taking action towards your goal?
I'm taking actions, but I don't think I'm taking enough actions, because I feel like the things that I'm just probably taking action on the wrong things. But I feel like I shouldn't have to try super, super hard because of this material as well. So it's just like, okay, well, I don't want to try harder. I just think more, maybe it's more efficient actions.
What comes to mind is like from the energy that you're taking the action. So are you coming it from the goal achieved? Are you going from there and then that energy to get the ideas of what to work on, or are they from down here? So there's a difference. And then also is when you're starting, you want to get in momentum, like so if you think of what it takes to create the momentum, it's like the knowledge and understanding. And this might be a really good lesson for you, like the mastermind idea, because often we don't know what to do, but the idea of like who does know the answer, and then taking the action to help out, or to reach out to like get the answers from people that have been there before, where you want to go. And like not always doing everything that they say to do, but getting the ideas to like spur to like help you move your mind. Like sometimes when I'm masterminding, it's never what the person says that I take on, but it's like what it does in my own mind, because I'm really focused in on present. Does that make sense? And then the ideas after that. I know this too is like There's a difference between grinding it out and hustling, taking a ton of action that is not thought out from up here, but just down here, the lower paradigm. That is the hustle that I'm talking about. Like taking all this action for just being busy. Does that make sense? So like that, trying harder doesn't work. But up here, you've got to be willing to do whatever it takes to get. So when you make a committed decision, but it's not a trying harder, meaning hustling, doing meaningless action. Do you see the difference? It's a very important difference when you're going for your goal. Because the hustling down here, which is the fly doing the same thing over and over and over and not getting the same result, is just like not thinking. It's part of your paradigm. It's part of the habit that you're thinking. But the action up here to make the goal, like if you ask Steve Jobs, did he have to like, try hard to make the iPhone? Yeah. I mean, you've got to like be willing to do whatever it takes to get the goal. But it's different kind of hustle. Can you guys see that? Mm. It's a willingness to do whatever it takes and pay the price up here. Down here is paradigm, same old, same old, same old. I don't know if that will help just in figuring out like what is the action that you need to take. And also you're not going to know the whole plan. A part of the paradigm is like, I need to know exactly. Well, no, you need to know what you can do today. And I always on my list is who can I phone that knows more than me about where am I going. I'm always getting out of my comfort zone and asking, whether it's like the head of sales at PGI or, like I meditate and whatever name comes to mind. The last week I was talking to a guy about SEO. I have no freaking clue what that even means, those letters. But I'm like, I don't know this. So I'm going to pick up the phone, call someone I have no idea, I've never met, and ask for help. That was it. Do you see? But that's action from up here, not down here. Does that help, Katie?
It does help. I think just kind of watching what I'm doing, and yeah, I've been really meditating and really asking, like, what is it that I need to do today? And
good.
You really do get answers. So
that's the asking for guidance piece with gratitude. So that's really good. And notice that you're going to get the information, like it might not be right when you ask for guidance too, like be open to it coming throughout the day through different messages. Like sometimes something pops up on my screen, like it might be a notification from Messenger or from Facebook, and there'll be a title or even a name in it. And I'm paying attention, I'm conscious. And that triggers a thought. And that thought is like, oh my goodness, I should reach out to Sarah, who then connected me to, XYZ. You see that? It's good. I like that. Asking for guidance, as long as you're in a good vibration, is very good work. So we have been programmed as part of our paradigm, part of our habitual behavior, to take logical, progressive steps. This is, if you go to anyone like a bank or whatever, they want to see your plan, right? The logical steps in that. For some of these things, there's red tape. You're going to need to do it. Know that being logical is controlled by your paradigm, and that we want to get out of the logical behavior. I have a sign above my computer, do the illogical. I have got that from Sandy because I'm a very logical person. So if you find yourself making logical steps or logical decisions, see what you can do to do the opposite. Ooh, it's an uncomfortable one. Not easy. U squared implies an explosive jump in our performance. An explosive jump in our personal performance, far beyond the next logical step. So I want you to think about this. What would that mean for you in your business, in your company, in your life? We have to see it here before we can accept the idea. And a lot of us have around us because of maybe the companies we're involved with, there's like a timeline that's like usual for promotions, or you know, for some of you in real estate, there's like the average time it takes someone to get to a certain role, place in the company. What if you wiped out all that logic and you said a quantum leap for me? What do I want? Like Price Pritchard says, what would that be? And who would I need to be for that jump to make sense? Who would I become in the process? Goes back to lesson 6, doesn't it? But why I asked that question, what does it look like for you, is because you must see it here. When I was speaking to a few of you on the phone, I noticed that we're not seeing it here, which is okay, but we have to create that order here. And you know what's protecting us is it's just the paradigm for protecting you from even seeing that it's possible for you. You might see it's possible for someone else on the call, but it is also possible for you. Okay, does that resonate? Yeah, good. Here we go back to this. Quantum leaps come without apparent effort. Without apparent effort. We just get to skip the rungs in the ladder. Sherry.
So with it saying without apparent effort, that doesn't mean without effort. That just means to everybody else on the outside, it looks like it was an easy jump, right?
Yeah, very good. And what my personal take on this, my perception, is that we start taking intuitive action, like inspired action. So asking our intuition, like, what can I do today? And we're also doing the do. So it's not what we do, but it's how we do it. It's the energy behind the doing. So there's two things that come to play, right? We're taking inspired action. When Napoleon Hill in Auto-Suggestion chapter, when he talks about when that idea comes, we must act on it. That line I read over and over for so long, because that idea will get you closer to your goal and faster. That's the inspired action. And it's going to come, like if you ask for guidance in the morning after gratitude, it can come at any point, right? It's going to flash into your mind. So that's inspired action. But then imagine, Sherry, you are now in everything you do. You are being who you're committed to being, whether it's with your kids. And so then this energy of you beingness in your day is going to attract things. More ideas are going to come because you're in this high vibration. And then it's in this. So it doesn't look like you're working harder or putting any more effort. It's just how you see that. It's how you're doing it. And you've got the clarity behind what to do. Does that help?
Yeah, I think it does. I can see it. I don't know that I can articulate it, but I can see it.
Yeah, perfect. And you know what? You're going to get an awareness as it starts happening to you. So the first thing to do is to raise the vibration and commit, like you did, to showing up as this Sherry. It's just what you're doing is drawing out who you already are, bringing her to the table. But you're committing to showing up to like as her, no matter what the circumstances. No matter how much sleep you've had. Right? And then in that vibe, so that's your first step in that vibe, then the ideas are going to come in line with that beingness. And they flash into your mind. And then you're going to execute them as they come. And it becomes a whole lot of fun. And some of the ideas you can't execute right now, but you'll make a note of them and you'll do it later. Right?
Okay.
And it becomes fun because you're like playing.
It sounds fun.
Yeah. Yeah, good. And so that's where it comes from. Does that help everyone, that no apparent effort? It's a good discovery. And here, as you're listening and you're listening with your emotions, try it on. Like as you hear something, go out now. And like Bob said, take action in what I'm saying. And it's the learning for us comes in from the new results you get from taking action in this way. Do you see that? And then you've got to like notice and course correct, notice and course correct. Really good. There are a million people at my house right now. I'm sorry. I've got to like turn the other way. More and more cars keep coming. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to show you because it's kind of funny. Do you see? Oh no. All the guys in yellow. Oh, renovations are almost done. Renovations are almost done. I'm so happy and grateful for all the people that are here to make my renovations happen. All these people that are working for our amazing house. See how we always have to align ourselves? Like our energy, because my mind can go to worry because there's a lot of government trucks outside right now. But we've got to like align ourselves in the moment. Like, well, no, what do I want? What do I want? I want them to keep working today because my house will be finished by Friday, you know, and we realign. So if I was here by myself, I'd be like writing that out to keep my vibration up. Because, you know, in the moment, like, do you ever get that feeling my stomach like dropped? Like I did something wrong. I'm like, no, that's my mind playing tricks and assuming some things that I don't know about. You guys see that? Love how you're getting like it right in action. But it's through the repetition that I'm able to keep the mind straight. Okay. And then I go, no, I literally go, what? No, Danielle, what do you want? I'm going to have them finish. I'm so grateful because gratitude atones me. And I'm so grateful that everything is as to plan. Okay. So let's take a look. I want you to check too on your belief around our quantum leaps can happen by applying the concept. So if you take a look at what TIR is, one idea that I really wanted in the beginning, accepted about this program, that was, this is my answer. I had to have the belief that I go all in and then I get what I want. What he says here, and this comes from U Squared, quantum leaps can happen by applying the concepts in this toolbox. If you can accept by applying the tools you have, quantum leaps happen. That's your belief. You're going to either believe it or not. You're either pregnant or you're not. And if you believe it, you can't be half pregnant, can you? So you can't half have a belief. You either fully believe it or you fully don't. And the belief shows up in your results. Like, it's that simple. So I kept really saying to myself, I believe that all I need to do is put everything into this and I'll get what I want. So check yourself there, and you can change your belief at any time. Bob says how you change your belief is to deconstruct the belief and accept a new one. Every challenge has a learning opportunity. Get excited about the opportunities to learn. A great idea to adopt in lesson 12 when we are masterminding around your challenges, because we're going to be putting energy around your challenges, and you'll see next week as we break down what to do in the mastermind, we're putting all of our energy around the challenge. But if you in the moment can change it where, wow, like to, wow, there's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity for me to learn, to become better, more effective. You will start welcoming those opportunities to learn. You will actually be a little bit skeptical if things are too easy because you know you're not growing. You'll be looking for the opportunities to grow. Okay, so this is a change in perception, isn't it? Because I don't know many people that get excited about challenges except for Bob right now. But I'm working on that, and I encourage you to do the same thing. So mastermind groups are a group of people where they have a common situation where they're masterminding, a common challenge or a goal that they want to overcome or that they want to find a solution for. In this community, we get you together with like-minded people, and you're all masterminding toward, like, with this big thinking, which means that you're coming together with that common space. What you want to do is think about the different areas of your life that you could potentially mastermind around. So for example, you could create a mastermind around your family or your relationship. You can mastermind around your finances. You can mastermind around your business. Your family could even get into the idea of masterminding to help each other. Mastermind groups are a group of people getting together dedicated to help you solve your problem. So we come in, though, knowing that you're there. So if I'm masterminding with Mamito and Sherry, we come in and I come to the table knowing that I'm there to help Sherry and help Mamito. And I know that I'm there to put my mind and hook my mind like a battery, Bob says, to increase my power to help them find the solution. So my energy all is on them and whoever's speaking at that time. And we ask around when you're in lesson 3. Sometimes people get in before and sometimes it's way after, just depending on where you are. We ask that you join a mastermind in our community, and they're all listed in the e-newsletters that you guys get on. Right now they're Wednesdays. They're about to move to Thursday mornings, really early in the morning. But the reason why we ask you to join is because the community's safe and you can practice and you can see what the structure is. We all have C-type goals in this community, and so it allows you to really become open and to practice putting the energy out. Okay. Anyone that's not in a mastermind and you're past lesson 3, I recommend getting in and sending Shelly a message and she'll help you get in. They're really, really great. And there's a lot of rules around them. That's one of the things I hear. Well, I don't want to be in the mastermind because I can't commit. But let me tell you, the commitment that you're forced to give is really like you're showing up. And for some of us, it's the first time we're showing up every other week and having to keep a commitment. And let me tell you, our mastermind leaders are coached to call you out when you don't show up, and you'll be kicked out. And then there's I guess an impact to that. But then you can recommit again and join again. But there's, we just are holding you up to what you say you're committed to. So be very selective about the people that you share your dreams with and your thoughts of U squared and TIR. So notice out there that people are focused on like what's not working and their problems rather than what is working and finding solutions. The truth is most people, even when you try to tell them that you're about to like have a quantum leap in their success, and that you're looking to like multiply your effectiveness, they won't know what you're talking about. So we just want to protect what you're learning. Great. Yeah, go ahead, Sherry.
Sorry, can I ask you a question about that? Because there's been times where I've wanted to talk to people, like things that they've said have triggered me to think, oh my gosh, they would get so much out of this material or just being part of your mastermind, like your, I can't remember what it's called, not the Thinking into Result, the other one, the mastermind group.
The Mastering Your Mindset group, yeah.
And I tried sharing something with a couple of people on my team, and I was disappointed in their lack of willingness to even look at it. Yeah. And when they asked me what it is, it was like one of the money ones, and they were, and I understand protecting this because what we have is different than the way a lot of people are thinking, and I understand that. Mm-hmm. But how do we grow ourselves in the community around us doing this if we can't really? I don't know. See what you'll notice is as you become more comfortable and share, and usually it comes with the application in your own life, you'll notice that people start noticing and asking you as well. But you do want, if you have the idea to share it because you're going to learn from that sharing. Like, don't hold yourself back. But what I found myself doing was going out and going, okay, like to my sister, okay, your life's not working. So like, not in those words, but I'm like, you should really be doing X, Y, Z. And I'm like, because this is where I'm going in my company and this is what I found. And I'm go off and spout my ideas and telling her what she should do. And that just didn't work. For one, she didn't believe I was going to ever achieve my goals. And she
is just so caught in her own stuff that she can't see that she's not ready to hear it. But if you're having conversations with someone and the idea comes up and you hear something that triggers your mind, I would personally say, hey, you know what, Sarah, you just said XYZ, like you just said this. And I remember my coach saying something about this. I don't know if this interests you, but maybe you'd want to take a look of a community that I'm like a part of, calling Mastering Your Mindset. Would you like me to add you? And you can check out some of the videos to see if it resonates. And you'll be able to tell if they're ready to hear it. And that might even just open a conversation. Like most people aren't even in the habit of having conversations about the words that come out of their mouth because that's their thinking, you know what I mean? So we've got to kind of test the waters. But what I don't want you to do is go blah, blah, blah about all the, like, what you're doing in your life, because what happens early on in the material is our belief in this isn't strong enough yet. Your inner being knows the truth, which is why you're here. It resonated with you to say yes. And it knows this truth in this material, and you listened. So you're ready. And most likely, if the idea comes to you to share it to your friend Sarah, with your friend Sarah, she's most likely thinking it. So you want to like honor your intuition, but you can ask her questions rather than telling.
Okay.
Okay. And it will help build up your belief. And if they're not ready, it's okay. Like leave them with an impression of increase, give them a tool. Maybe gratitude's always an easy one.
Yeah. Okay.
That I find, or an affirmation even. Yeah. Does that help?
Yeah, I think it does. Thank you.
When you are thinking about people that you want to mastermind with, think about the gaps in your business, or the holes, or the specialized knowledge that you might need to reach your goal. So that's going to look very different for each of you. I'll give you an example. I don't know enough about websites, so I, started talking about in my mastermind how I need to, like, I just got a website like not long ago, haven't had one for 5 years. And so I thought, well, I should make this website more effective than just a thing on the internet. And so I decided, like, okay, well, I want to know who knows about SEO. So I started having conversations and asking questions to then get in conversations so that I could learn and mastermind with those people. But I needed to understand what my gaps in my own knowledge were. Not only are the gaps of what I like to do, because I don't have any desire to build websites or learn about SEO. So not only do I not like it, but I also don't have time or the knowledge. Do you see? So I'm filling those gaps by asking questions. Who do people know? And then it came up in my mastermind, and then from there I take it. You see? So that's a great place to start when you're thinking about how to grow your business and multiply your own effectiveness. Did you know that, I'm going to get this wrong. I think maybe you guys can help me. It's from Think and Grow Rich. Andrew Carnegie knew nothing about the steel business, but made his billions in the steel manufacturing industry. Did you know that? He knew nothing about manufacturing steel. That is so far from logic, isn't it? Don't you think you've got to know everything in the business that you're going to make your millions? And doesn't that hold most people back from making their millions in a business? Because I don't know enough. What did he do? He surrounded himself with the specialized knowledge he needed. Same thing with Henry Ford. In fact, he was called out on this, that he didn't know enough. And he said, why would I fill my head with all this junk, this useful knowledge, when at the push of a button, I can have the answer? Think about this, how much we hold ourselves back because you think you need to know the answer. I will tell you, I will never know anything worth value about SEO, because I know what I need to know to teach you guys this, and that's this. Everything else is going to be at a push of a button to get the knowledge. Do you see that? And I also am realizing that we can't do anything of significance on our own. So understand that power of the mastermind and what this really does, because there's something here for each of us. We're each holding ourselves back because we think we've got to do it all, know it all. It's not true. It's just part of the paradigm. And it doesn't necessarily what I just got. Someone's thinking it, well, no, I've got to then hire it. It's going to take a lot of money. Well, I can tell you it doesn't have to do that either. And the resources always show up when you've made the decision. So one of you about money going, oh no, I can't do that. Don't let that stop you either. It's interesting how thought energy transfers that fast too, isn't it?
Danielle, can I ask you something can I challenge you for a moment?
Yeah.
So, that's your belief is that you don't, and also it's also a desire to not want to know all of that stuff about SEO. But if you were to actually know that, search engine optimization is simply what it is, if you were to actually embrace that,
Are you using my example? Don't use my example, because I actually know what it is. I'm just like using it. Like I don't use my target market, but like I'm using it as an example to show that it can stop us. You know what I mean? What I don't want to know is how to put all the words in my website.
Yeah, and that's why I'm just going to use your example, because a lot of us are creating businesses on websites, but just, not wanting, or like not doing that yourself could actually block you from, because when we do our blogs, we want to have a knowledge of that. So just again, like being open, because if you're writing your blogs,
I think you're going into like the logistics, though. That's not so much the point. Like I was just like using something. What I don't want to know is, like, I've started doing all the research, about those keywords, and I get that. So like in my writing and how I do social media, I think what you want to take is like, don't use like what I exactly said. Like in the website building, like I don't want to know why Google knows that word or like any of that. Do I want to know what words to use? Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's like, I get the knowledge, like I'm attending my own staff meetings. Do you know what I'm saying? So I get the knowledge, I hear it, but then I decide what I do and don't want to do. Because if I don't want to build my website and I have no interest in learning, because this is where it stops a lot of people. It's not that I'm not open to the learning of it. Like, it's just that I don't want to do it. But we can stop ourselves thinking that we've got to do it all ourselves or know it all. But I attend my meetings, don't worry. And I get the definition, and but also I'm not doing the research. I've delegated that out because I don't want to do the Google ad research. That's not where I'm spending my time. Mm-hmm. But for a long time, I thought that I had to do all that. But why? I don't have to do all that. I need to know it. I've got to like know definitions, but I don't need to like understand the workings of it. You see what I'm saying? There's a big difference there. And Henry Ford said the same thing. He always had a group of 50 people that could give him the definition, or could give him, so he could make executive, really fast decisions, right? That made him more effective at what he was doing, which was visualizing that V6 motor. Does that help, Katie?
Yeah, I think it's just like, if you're not, it's like that willingness, like that perception of like being willing and open to do what it takes. But also, if you don't know what it is, then you also don't know who to reach out to get someone else to do the things for you. Well, that's asking really good questions and getting the right people around you to mastermind. Like, that is very important. Who, like, and being objective, having the bird's eye view of what you're up to, so you can notice the gaps. And did I get to this point here? No, I started asking the like questions on like, based on my end result, like, I want so much, the reason why I got this is I want so much traffic coming to a website to like, help people, but it has to like, you got to be objective and look at the bird's eye view of your business. And for each one of us, it's so different. Like Mamito, I'm thinking of you in acting, like having that bird's eye view, like perhaps, and like really looking at auditions and like what you need. For her, it's going to be so different, but the process is the same. Is like being up here to go, what are my gaps? Do you see that? That process is the same for each of us, but
it's actually, just to touch on that, that's where I've been thinking. So I've now booked an appointment with an image consultant who works with actors, because it's like I am at that place of what do I need to do, or where are my gaps, so that I can fill those things in so that I can be being called in for more auditions. So I think it's things like that. Is that right?
Yeah, totally. That's right. And what came to mind for your business was like accent work.
Yes.
You know, like getting perception on like, you know, where is my current game, that bird's eye view, and having someone else look. So right now you might not know who to talk to, but by asking enough questions, hey, who do you know about accents? Like that works with accents. Who do you know that's an image consultant? And I've had people like come into my life that weren't a good fit on that topic. I have one conversation. I know we don't resonate. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'm going to keep asking the questions to find the gaps. But over time, and also too, those people I've had the conversations with, they lead to another idea or another gap that I didn't even know I had. So like the SEO conversation, for example, led to a whole other gap in my, like, and then now it's like, anyway, I can go on about what I'm learning right now, but they lead to, like, as we open our awareness, we lead to other things and how our business can grow. Do you see that? The power of the mastermind chapter in this, Think and Grow Rich, he talks about how he gathers people and why our brains are hooked up like batteries. So I'd recommend, like, you know, if you're interested, Mamito, this might be a good place for you to start so that you can ask, like, what people do I need to ask? Who do I need to start talking to? Who do I need to have a conversation with? And don't be limited that you need to bring them into the room all at the same time. I mean, when you're ready, that can happen. Right now, it can be like the one-on-one and brainstorming, right? It doesn't need to look a certain way. I'm mindful of the time, so I'll go through these slides and then I'll stay on to help you guys visualize. Okay, if anyone needs to go, I'm grateful for you being on today and sharing your energy. So masterminding requires an open mind. Katie was just saying that open minding, releasing yourself to the ideas. So when you're masterminding, you're always talking about like accepting everyone's idea. And if it's a negative idea, we just say next, next, and you stay open, because like I said, often the ideas that come trigger something in yourself that you need to hear. And so staying open allows you to get that energy. And even if it's something you tried before. So you just say, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. And the ideas are like a train and they come after the other. The longer you work with a mastermind, the more powerful it becomes. You'll start to play off the energy and you'll know that you're all arriving at your high game. So today I mastermind with Bob at 4:30. I'm like, ooh, ready, you know, and we all come really super prepared. You came to believe that your answer is in that group. So when you ask the question to mastermind, you know that there's an answer that's going to come or trigger an idea that's going to give you that answer. And that's a belief that you have. Again, you either have it or you don't. You also come to understand that you are going to create the results that you want much easier when you have all of these minds working together for you. And on these slides, I'm aware that it's all about you at the moment, like in the gain you're going to get. And know the true foundation of the mastermind is what you're going to give. Okay, so if we are coming to with this idea that I'm showing up my best because of how I'm supporting my mastermind group, so the others. Now, when you're masterminding, like let's say you have a team and you've got a goal, maybe it's in your business or even your family. You're coming together for this common goal. When you're giving in that, and it might be your personal goal for a promotion, you might come together to mastermind on how that is going to happen. When you are going to need to receive the help from those people. How I got asked the question, how can I give when it's only my goal in this hour we're masterminding? You can give through the impression of increase. You can give through the power of your mind and like really focus on the person who's showing up and giving their idea. So you'll have to experiment with this and how the flow of energy. Okay? See how that is. In the cases when we mastermind here in this community, we are having each person come to the table with with a want, like with something, so that you have an opportunity to give on every call. In your life, though, it could be where you're only masterminding around one particular goal, and it could be for you to accept, or you might be invited to give. So there's different forms. You guys see that? Okay, good. All right. So remember your 3 R's: review, rethink, and rewrite. I love this lesson, multiplying your results. We've had a lot of really great conversation here. So I know that our minds are buzzing with ideas on how to multiply our effectiveness. There's no coincidence that Carnegie and Ford, for example, Steve Jobs, another one, created what they created with the team they had around them. Who is that for you? And you don't need to know yet, but start thinking, what does that look like? Who do I want around me? What type of person? All right, we're going to go into our visualization. So it's 1:35. I acknowledge where you're at in time. Thank you for joining us today. I will stay on to spend the 5 minutes of visualization. So I'll ask that you put off your video. If you need to run, thanks for being here. And I will mind the time as we go into this visualization. Uncross your legs or arms, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and out. And again, in and out. And just as Bob says in the lesson, you want to notice, this is lesson 3, where he's talking about the lavender energy swirling above your head. And this lavender energy goes into the crown of your head. See that happening. And as it moves down through your body, you're relaxing your body. Always for the visualization, you want to be in a relaxed state. So on the screen of your mind, with a relaxed body, take yourself to your goal achieved, into that future memory that you created with your goal achieved. It can only happen with your goal achieved. Think about all the smells, sounds, who's there. Use all your senses to feel. What are you feeling with this goal achieved? I'll mind the time and I'll allow you to play out that memory. Okay, come back. Thank you. That was great. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, this is physics. Well done, Sherry. I can see the emotion. It's good. Yeah, it's good. This, you know, this is everything. Go on today in this energy. I acknowledge you guys for being on, staying on. Thank you. And for those that want to do it all over again, we'll see you at 6:30 tomorrow. And expect abundance, guys. And please remember to add questions into the group, whatever comes up. I've been a little short, so I'm requesting to get more questions to help everyone. So if you can think of anything, even if you just send them to us, we can put them in the link. Awesome. Thanks.